Hi, my name is Jebin. In this video lecture, I am going to explain about compounding and governing of steam turbines. So, compounding is the method of reducing rotor speed. In the recent years, high pressure, especially 100 to 140 bar and high temperature steam is used in the power plants to increase their thermal efficiency. If the entire pressure drop from boiler pressure to condenser pressure, say 125 bar to 1 bar is carried out in one stage only, then the velocity of steam entering into the turbine will be extremely high. It will make the turbine rotor to run at a very high speed, even up to 30,000 rpm. From practical point of view, such a high speed of the turbine rotor is bound to have a number of disadvantages. In order to reduce the rotor speed, various methods are employed. All of these methods consist of a multiple system of rotors in series keyed to a common shaft, and the steam pressure or the jet velocity is observed in stages as it flows over the rotor blades. This process is known as compounding. There are three methods commonly employed for reducing the rotor speed. Number one, velocity compounding. Number two, pressure compounding. And number three, pressure velocity compounding. Velocity compounding. In velocity compounding of an impulse turbine, the expansion of steam takes place in a nozzle or a set of nozzles from the boiler pressure to the condenser pressure. The impulse wheel carries two or three rows of moving blades. The three rings of moving blades separated by two rings of fixed or guided blades in the reverse manner. The steam, after expanding through nozzles, enter the first ring of moving blades at a high velocity. A portion of this high velocity is absorbed by this blade ring, and the remaining is passed onto the next ring of fixed blades. The fixed blades change the direction of steam and direct it to the second ring of moving blades without altering the velocity appreciably. After passing through this second ring of moving blades, a further portion of velocity is observed. The steam is now directed by the second ring of fixed blades to the third ring of moving blades and then enters into the condenser. This turbine can run at about one third of the speed of D-level turbine for the same pressure drop and diameter of the wheel. All the pressure drop occurs in the nozzles. Pressure compounding of an impulse turbine. In pressure compounding of impulse turbine, the rings of moving blades, each having a ring of fixed nozzles, are keyed to the turbine shaft in series. The total pressure drop of the steam does not take place in the first nozzle ring, but is divided equally among all the nozzle rings. The steam from the boiler is passed through the first nozzle ring, where only a small pressure drop occurs with an increase in velocity of steam. The steam is now directed on the first moving blade ring, where the pressure of steam does not alter, but the velocity decreases. This constitutes one stage. It may be noted that a stage consists of a fixed nozzle ring and a moving blade ring. The steam from the first moving blade ring enters the second nozzle ring where its pressure is further reduced. A little consideration will show that the pressure drop per stage in the nozzle rings is not the same, but the number of heat units converted into velocity energy in each stage is the same. The process is repeated in the remaining rings until the condenser pressure is reached. It may be noted from the figure that by arranging a small pressure drop per stage, the velocity of steam entering the moving plates and hence the speed of rotor is reduced. Pressure velocity compounding. In pressure velocity compounding of a simple impulse turbine, both the previous two methods are utilized. The total pressure drop of the steam is divided into stages and velocity obtained in each stage is also compounded. A little consideration will show that a pressure velocity compounded impulse turbine allows a bigger pressure drop and hence less number of stages are required. It may be noted that the diameter of the turbine is increased at each stage to allow the increasing volume of steam at the lower pressures. A ring of nozzles is fixed at the commencement of each stage as shown. Internal losses in turbines. An ideal turbine will do the work equivalent to the isentropic enthalpy or heat drop of the steam used in the turbine. But in actual practice, the work done by the turbine is much less than isentropic heat drop of the steam used. There are several factors which affect the performance of a steam turbine. All these factors will reduce the output of the turbine are known as internal losses. They are nozzle loss, blade friction loss, wheel friction loss, mechanical friction loss, leakage loss, residual velocity loss, moisture loss, radiation loss, and governing loss. Governing of steam turbines. The necessity and processes of governing of steam engines. In the same way, we provide an arrangement for the governing of steam turbines. Though there are many methods of governing steam turbines, here we are going to see throttle governing of steam turbines, nozzle control governing of steam turbines, and bypass governing of steam turbines. Throttle governing of steam turbines. In throttle governing of a steam turbine, it is a method of controlling the turbine output by varying the quantity of steam entering into the turbine. This method is also known as servometer method. Here, the centrifugal governor is driven from the main shaft of turbine by belt or gear arrangement. The control valve controls the direction of flow of the oil either in the pipe AA or BB. The servometer or relay valve has a piston whose motion is connected to a spear or needle which moves inside the nozzle. We know that when turbine is running at its normal speed, the position of the piston in the servometer, control valve, fly balls of centrifugal governor will be in their normal positions. The oil pumped by the gear pump into the control valve will come back into the oil sump as the mouth of both pipes AA or BB are closed by the two wings of control valve. It may be noted that when load on the turbine decreases, it will increase its speed. As a result of this, the fly balls will go up and the sleeve will also go up. This will push the control valve rod downwards. This downward movement of the control valve rod will open the mouth of pipe BB. When the speed of turbine is reduced to its normal range, the fly balls will come down. Now the sleeve as well as control valve rod will occupy its normal positions and the turbine will run at its normal speed. Nozzle control governing. Nozzle control governing of steam turbine is basically used for part load condition. Some set of nozzles are grouped together and each group of the nozzle is supplied steam controlled by valves. Every valve is closed by the corresponding set of nozzle. Steam's flow rate is also controlled by these nozzles. Actually, nozzle control governing is restricted to the first stage of turbine, whereas the subsequent nozzle area in other stage remains constant. According to the load demand, some nozzles are in active and other inactive position. Suppose turbine holds 10 number of nozzles. If the load demand is reduced by 50%, then 5 number of nozzles are in open condition and the rest is closed. This method is suitable for simple impulse turbine. It is a process where rate of steam flow is regulated depending on the opening and closing of set of nozzles rather than regulating its pressure. Bypass governing of steam turbine. Bypass governing of steam turbine is a method where a bypass line is provided for the steam. Especially, this is used when turbine is running in overload condition. The bypass line is provided for passing the steam from first stage nozzle box into a later stage where work output increase. This bypass steam is automatically regulated by the lift of valve which is under the control of the speed of the governor for all loads within its range. Bypass valve is open to release the fresh steam into the latter stage of the turbine. In the latter stage, output work is increased and the efficiency is low due to the throttle effect. Thank you.